Welcome to episode 2 of Leaders and Next. Today's episode is presented by Caribou Coffee, fueling real leaders with real ingredients. Visit their website at cariboucoffee.com for more information. We're excited to have our guest, Cam Brandt. Cam's a new member of the team from the 2023 recruiting class, played in 14 games last year on special teams on the defensive line and got his first varsity letter. We're incredibly excited to have Cam. Good to have you on.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
It's great that you're here. Obviously, you're focused on football now, but so we're always curious when growing up. Did you play any other sports?
I played basketball. That was really the main sport because my older brother did it for the longest, so I was always going with him to practices and AAU tournaments. So that was cool, but I didn't really like it because I was like a bigger kid, like it's too physical. It was too I didn't like being organized basketball. I just couldn't get with it, so I was kind of strayed away from that. But I can hoop though.
It's those damn 5 fouls.
Yeah.
Let me guess. You were probably standing outside shooting threes. You were underneath the basket.
Yeah. I hated that.
Good man.
Yeah.
How'd you end up getting started in football? Like how old were you, and who got you started?
Honestly, I was probably like 5, 4 one time. I think the story is like I was upstairs in my parents' room. They were playing there was some NFL game going on. I was looked at it and I was like, yeah, this is what I want to do. So I was like, told my dad I want to play football. He got me signed up for the Park League, little flag football. And that's how it started.
Now, your dad, I read somewhere, your dad said, something like if you're going to play it, give it 110%.
Yeah, most definitely. That's just what he instilled in us, just like to go about life. If you're going to do anything, put your 110% in it. Make sure you go at it and give it your all, just to make sure like, if you really like it, at least you put your 110, you gave it your all. If you don't like it, you can feel comfortable knowing, all right, I tried it, didn't work out, cool. So, yeah,
nice.
That was just a big motto that he used to preach to us.
When you were growing up, I'm sure you had a lot of role models. Who would you say was the biggest influence in your life, kind of coming up through growing up, high school? Yeah.
Probably my dad, again. Just how he carried himself, just him driving us, me and my brother and my sister, to make sure that we were great in everything that we did. It was hard. There's times where I was like, dude, it's too much. So it was like, I understood it came from a good place. It was like, he helped us all grow into great, amazing adults. So that was really my influence.
That's awesome, and someday you get a chance to carry that on as a father someday as well. You mentioned he told you, hey, give 110% at everything you do. Any other lessons that he taught you that stood out from that period growing up on your way to Michigan?
Just to be me, pretty much. Carry on just like that brand name. No matter what, be yourself. Don't let anybody change who you are. Don't fall into any bad groups, stuff like that. One thing I like was just to be a chameleon, he used to say, which means just be able to fit into every group, mesh with every group, mesh with any type of people. Don't confine yourself to one type of people. Just expand your reaches, network, all this stuff.
I mean, what a great lesson, and especially at a place like Michigan where you've got top-tier athletics and people who are there to play sports. You've got people that are there just to study and everything in between. So my guess is you get to put that to use every day. Back to your high school, we know that you started school in Carson, California, and then transferred to Sierra Canyon. What went into your decision, to transfer high schools?
So how it started was my freshman year. I didn't play football at all. because like I wasn't serious about it yet. Like I didn't have that mindset just to go about it. So I was at this school called Da Vinci School of Science doing that, and then it wasn't until COVID hit that I was like, all right, I don't want to be here like at this previous school, and I transferred to St. Bernard's. So that was cool for a little bit. I was able to go through like the COVID season with that, but their coach, the coach there had apparently was like money laundering. Yeah, it's crazy.
A high school coach was a high school coach with money laundering.
Yeah, it was insane. It was like, I think our last game, he had told us, or some of the coaches had told us like he was sick or he wasn't going to be able to coach. We didn't find out till later what the actual reason was, but
He
yeah,
was locked up.
yeah, it was crazy. Yeah, like I mean, it made sense because I mean, my school they had brought in a whole bunch of new jerseys, helmets, all that stuff. Got a whole jumbotron. It's crazy. But,
And he kept some for himself, it sounds like.
yeah, yeah, but I found my way at Sierra Canyon through like a coach there, one of the other coaches, not the head coach, but Tim Cobb. He's like a really good guy. He recommended me to Sierra Canyon, to the head coach at Sierra Canyon, Coach Elsie. And they got in contact with my mom, and I was able to go out there. So that was really a blessing to be able to have that opportunity.
Now, I used to live in Southern California.
Yeah.
I did business in all 5 of those counties. Traffic is a nightmare. And given the distance from, so, you know, Carson is near, for those listening don't know where Carson is, it's near the Los Angeles airport, right? Kind of.
Yeah, it's like,
and then,
I like to say it's on the border of Compton and Long Beach.
So Compton and Long Beach. At Sierra Canyon, that we're talking 50, 60 miles commute kind of. What time, you know, you didn't physically move, right? So you were traveling from Carson to Sierra Canyon.
Yeah.
I mean, walk us through how that schedule worked in high school.
Junior year, this was like before my mom really trusted me to start driving. She was taking me. So like that was a lot. Or I would just do like carpools because it was me and another kid from Carson.
Okay.
So we would like carpool, get to lift, stuff like that. But once I started driving, it was just like, all right, we have those 6:30 lifts. I would get myself up at 4:45, leave the house at 5, and it was honestly a good drive. It was like straight shot, 40 minutes, no traffic. But the killer was just coming back. The killer was coming back. There was times just like sit in traffic for like 2 hours maybe.
And you were you driving by yourself?
Yeah.
So you couldn't, now legally you couldn't get in that HOV lane, like
yeah. I was like, we were still carpooling at that time. But
okay.
Once we like stopped, I was driving by myself. Yeah.
I think the statute of limitations is passed, but I there were several times I got in the HOV lane by myself. Just took the risk. That traffic is a killer.
That's the second crime that's been outed on this podcast. Now we got money laundering and illegal use of the HOV lane. I do like to imagine, Cam, your mom probably like the 4th or 5th, like didn't trust you driving it first, and then like a couple 5 a.m. wake ups in a row. She's like, you know what? I trust you. You're probably a pretty good driver.
A lot of driving for her. Yeah.
Yeah, and we were talking about Sierra Canyon. We were, it's a name now that I think a lot of people recognize because Bronny went there, and then we did some research, or my assistant did some research about Sierra Canyon, and we also know the Kardashians were graduates, and so our question for you is: any celebrity stories, or any maybe kids of celebrities that you bumped into at Sierra Canyon?
I met Kevin Hart's daughter, Heaven Hart. She's cool. She's super cool. Well, we've seen Aiden Hutchinson, Michigan guy, at a basketball game. Him and Jabo one time. it's just a lot of people. A lot of people. Yeah, it's really cool. I mean, they're normal kids at the end of the day. It's nothing like really crazy, really special, but it's cool just to be in that atmosphere and just you have those connections. And I think I don't know if you know him, but the RZA from Wu-Tang Clan, his kid went there as well. So,
Yeah, do you know the RZA from the Wu-Tang Clan?
yeah.
We're tight. We're close friends. We're close
Okay.
friends.
I do. I'm with that.
You had an awesome high school career. Coming out of high school, you had offers from most of the Power Five guys on the West Coast, clearly, and Stanford, Cal, USC, Oregon, Washington, and now you initially chose Stanford. Curious what was it about Stanford that you got excited about and committed to earlier?
Education was just like a big part of like my whole recruiting process. For me, I wanted to go into the engineering major, do that route. So for me, it was more like, all right, I know a lot of schools are going to tell me I could do this, but won't really let me do this. So I knew Stanford. There was guys there that were taking engineering. So I was looking at them in Cal for a minute. And that's really why I ended up going to Stanford, because it's just amazing academics, football.
Now, I think most people that follow football know, Shaw leaves Stanford. Is that, what was that the main reason that you changed your mind and
I definitely like took a step back just to weigh my options, see what was going on, see what coaches they were going to bring in, how they were going to go about things, just get a vibe of that new coaching staff. So yeah, I took a couple months just seeing everything, and that's when I just reached back into Michigan, see if that offer was still on the table, if they were able to pick me up, because also knew great academics, top-notch football. So
I'm just curious, like, how did you hear? Did someone from Stanford give you a heads up and call you, or did you hear it just like the rest of the people watching ESPN, that he was leaving?
Her like everyone else. Yeah, I think it was honestly, was it? Shoot, I don't know if it was after. No, it wasn't after my visit, but it was after some game. They had just said, yeah, he's stepping down. So it's like, dang.
I'm curious, did anyone from Stanford, after he stepped down, did anyone reach out to you to try to recruit you or see where you were at with your commitment in the days or weeks after you left?
It was definitely just that main staff and the new staff were just reaching out, trying to make sure, see where my head was at. They were just, doing that, taking visits to the high school, see what I was doing, stuff like that. So they were still trying to heavily recruit me, make sure I stayed and stuff like that. So,
you mentioned you reached back out to Michigan, see, hey, is the offer still there? What ended up going into your decision to end up at Michigan? I know it's got some of the same characteristics around academics, but anything in particular that really just sold to you and made Michigan home?
Honestly, I just knew it was all right, it's academics, it's great football. I knew Mason Graham, he was up there. I was able to visit out there. I like to visit the coaches, just where their mindset was at, how they were conducting their business, and just how they saw me play. I really liked that, just where they saw me in their defense and everything. That took a toll in just my decision. And then the rest was just it was just a feeling at one point. It was all right, you got Stanford on this end, Michigan on this end. It's you can't really go wrong. But, took a minute. I was I had to make a decision for myself, and just sat. It's a lot of nights where I just sat and thought. It was all right, and then ended up coming here. And I feel like I made a good decision.
And now you're national champ for life.
Yeah, exactly.
And obviously, California is a long way from Michigan. What's been the biggest
Most
adjustment going
definitely.
from high school in California to college in Michigan?
Weather. I feel like that's easy to say.
Had you seen
Weather
snow?
now.
Had you seen snow before? Or was it the first?
Yeah, yeah. I feel like a lot of people think California is always perfect weather, but it gets cold down there. Like the coast winds. If you're in the valley, you have that wind coming down from the mountains. It gets cold, but like coming to Michigan, it wasn't like I knew what I was getting myself into, and I like the cold anyway. So it's like, all right, I had no problem with it. But besides that, that's just been the biggest change, I guess.
And, as Dan said, California is a long way from Ann Arbor. Is it?
Mhm.
Is your family able to come to games? I mean, that's Stanford would have been a little bit of a drive, but they could have done a drive. They come to fly out here and
Yeah, they came to the Michigan State one. They were able to make it for that one. They came to Ohio State, and then Roseville game. That one was easy. So
the Rose Bowl. Yeah, that's it.
That's true.
That's a nice, not a bad drive. You mentioned academics being important, and saw that your high school GPA was over 4.0, but we did get a chance to review your 11th grade report card from Sierra Canyon, and you got all A's except for an A- in honors English 3.
Yeah.
I mean, what the heck happened? I mean, all A's and then you get an A- in honors English 3. I mean, did you slack off on that or what happened?
I couldn't even tell you. There was probably some grammar issue.
It's amazing what's online these days, but it's a true story. That was somewhere online. I saw that. It's a heck of a great report card.
Cam, you should fact check him. You should get your actual report card and fact check him on this.
Maybe go back and see if they can change it with extra credit. But no, seriously, you mentioned trying to, engineering. I was an engineer at undergraduate at Michigan. I had no fun and no time for anything other than school. So I have no idea how you balance, these days, what you're doing as an athlete and then the rigors of being a student as well at the University of Michigan. I mean, what are some of the challenges you face in balancing those, to make it all work?
I feel like at the end of the day, it's really just like time management. That's like the biggest thing. Like you gotta understand you gotta put a certain amount of time into football, make sure you know the plays, all that other stuff. If it's like in the season, making sure you know your game plan for that team you're about to play. But then also, all right, I got a math test Thursday or something. Gotta make sure you study for that, do all those little things. But I feel like the way they have it set up here, they make it really good. Just the tutors here, our academic staff, they make sure we're on our stuff and on track just to be great on the academic side. So,
what are you majoring in now?
I'm trying to major into mechanical engineering.
Mechanical.
So I'm currently working on the prerequisites to transfer over into the engineering school. So.
That's incredible, man.
That's incredible because again, I as an engineer graduate from University of Michigan, I know it's not easy. So, man, if you can, that's incredible. I mean, you must be a very organized person to do all that. And
I had a roommate who majored in mechanical in undergrad too, and the closest thing he did to sports was beer pong. So I can't imagine how you make it all work. It's incredible.
He was good at beer pong, by the way, though. I mean, he was good.
Yeah. It's me and another player, Evan Link.
Yeah,
we're trying to do engineering. So,
that's awesome.
That's a good point. Anybody else is anyone in the engineering program now full time on the team?
Not that I know of. It's really just me and Evan Link. He's in my class as well. He's already in the engineering school. So,
and is all your engineering classes on North Campus?
For him, I don't know. But for me, like the classes are on self. So like
Okay.
right now I'm taking a computer science class, math, chem. That's all self campus. So
Is Chem still in the Chem building? Is it Chem 1800? Is that the huge lecture hall down
yeah,
there?
it's a
Yeah.
big lecture hall. Yeah.
Cam, I kid you not. Like my second lecture at Michigan, this is like 100, or it's like not 20 years ago, but
Mhm.
second lecture in Chem 1800. Dude runs in a full Spider-Man outfit, runs down, does a dance on the stage, runs back out. And I'm like, what in the world?
Yeah, that's insane.
So
I didn't get to
some
experience any
people
of
party during the day,
that.
apparently. Yeah.
Yeah.
Switching to football, my dad mentioned coming out of high school, pretty much every Power Five, offer on the West Coast in Michigan. You choose Michigan. In the recruitment process, there were a lot of the so-called recruiting experts that were deciding whether or not you were going to play on the edge or whether you were going to shift inside once you got to college and kind of where you'd end up on the line. Now that you've got spring balls kicked off and you've got a full season under your belt, played 14 games, where are you playing most of your snaps now as spring ball kicks off?
I'm playing most of my snaps on the edge. Just like this past season, I was still on the edge, but I play like that big end position in our base package. But now it's just my life's on the edge now. So it's been cool though, but I feel like I'm still able to do both, just be inside or be outside, just the way my body is. Like, I have knowledge of what to do in there as well. So I feel like that's just good for my versatility.
And I'm always curious because there's so much stuff out there in the recruiting world. How much attention do you pay to that stuff, especially when you were kind of in high school making the transition into college and you're seeing the rankings and all the different scouts, opinions and analysis? How much attention to that did you pay?
None, not
None.
really. Yeah, like there'll be times where like my friends will tell me like, "Oh, you're a 3-star now or a 4-star now." I'm like, "Oh shoot, really?" I'm like, "Cool." Or like I'll look probably every once in a while, but I never really like looked heavy into it, just because like I know a lot of that stuff could probably get in people's heads, and it's just at that time it just didn't matter to me. Like I just wanted to be focused on one thing, my team, myself, school. Yeah.
Now, obviously, you're focusing on D-line now, but I saw one of your high school highlights where kind of a goal line play, and you caught a pass.
Yeah.
You looked like you had natural pass catching ability.
Most definitely.
So have you gone to Coach Kasula, the new tight end coach, and said, "Hey, I could be a two-way player. Like I'm your guy"?
No, I probably should though. I probably should. I have hands. I have hands.
Well, we did have we've had a couple D linemen intercept passes, and so it could be that could be in your cards. But no, it looked really good. But so last year, played a lot, played on special teams, and you won a few Freshman of the Year awards based on the bio there. Got a lot of run in the Minnesota game. And you're one of only, I think the recurring class were 25 guys in 2023, and you're one of only 6 who, burned the red shirt playing, more than 4 games. And what are you most proud as you look back, first of all, again, one of only 6 true freshmen that played. What are you most proud of from last season?
Just in general, just like really just getting the chance to learn under all those older guys and just being in that atmosphere, those road games. Being a part of that Penn State game, that was electric. Just that crowd, the energy, the atmosphere. It was like going back and forth. And just being a part, like, even though my role was probably like a little smaller, just still being a part, making some impact any way I could, and just learning from the older guys, really. Like Jay Harrell, Braden McGregor, those guys. D. Moore now, Josiah Stewart. Chris Jenkins, all those guys. Just learning from them, gaining experience, picking their heads, talking about what they think. It was great.
When you were being recruited, or when you showed up on campus, was there a conversation of, hey, we're thinking of redshirting, or did it just naturally unfold? You demonstrated, your ability in practice, and they just kept putting you in, or was there any conversation about that? Okay.
There was no conversation. I was just like going into spring camp. I just practiced, did my thing, kept my head down, kept working. They saw that, so like what they saw, I thought I could play.
No.
Yeah.
That's great. That's great.
The Penn, you brought the Penn State game up, and I don't know, there was that was very unique because of the flight over. You find out Harbaugh is suspended. Everyone tweets bet.
Yeah.
My guess is that crowd was pretty fired up against you, but it felt like the team came out. And I've watched Michigan football my entire life, and I've been proud of Michigan football a lot during that stretch. But that game was something unique because you could see it in the after-game interviews. You could see it in the way the team played in the field. You knew there was something different about this team, even going back to 2021 for everyone that was still there. But like that was one of the pinnacle moments of it, with just against all the odds, against all the outside noise, the team comes together, the bet game, and you could almost feel it through the TV, but I am curious what that was like when you beat them and you walked off the field. What did that feel like?
It was electric. Like even just coming out through the tunnel, like the music they were playing, we were taking that from them, just turning up to it. Halftime came out, did the same thing, turning up to their music. We just made it fun. Like every play, every stop we got, KG's chased down. All of that, it was electric. Sidelines were chirping. That was funny. Getting into that, but that whole experience was just crazy. And then just the whole stadium too. Like you really like your ears start ringing almost, just how loud it is. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's incredible. What obviously there's so many moments from that game, but where do you think that comes from? Like you go on a road game. It's one of the most hostile environments in college football. All the stuff that happened the 24 hours before. You come in, you run the ball 32 times, you win, and you take all that crazy noise and you make it your own. Like, okay, it's almost like a confidence where you're not taking it too lightly, but you're able to sort of brush all that off. Where does that come from? Is that just the leaders on the team that just instill that? Is that a culture thing? Where does that mentality come from? Because you could see it. I mean, it's you see it when you see it, and it was definitely on display that day.
It's definitely just like it's a culture thing. Just the leaders on the team. It's just we're a band of brothers. We're a band of brothers out there just going to get the job done. We're stuck by each other, thick and thin. It's just getting the job done. That's the end of it. It's just the culture. We know what we had to do to win the game, and we knew we weren't going to back down from anything. So,
are there any suitable for public discussion moments from that game where any of the leaders give a speech or anything like that, or did you guys just know it's ready to take care of business? Or just curious, what was the locker room like just before you left?
So we were honestly excited. We were just like, let's go. Like, there was nothing needed to be said really. We were just gonna go out there, like Coach Moore said, smash every play. That's what we were gonna go out there and do and have fun doing it. So yeah.
Bet says it all.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, we were talking about we were thinking about this with we were just talking about this question, and I was mentioning my perspective as a fan. You watch a lot of this in the stands and through the television for some of the away games, and what I feel like is you get millions of people that watch the end result of so much work, so much preparation and studying and practice. And my guess is in your preparation to be the best edge, you can be, every Saturday. We see just a fractional glimpse of that. Do you feel like there's an overlooked detail, like something about a specific technique or strategy or preparation that goes into being the best edge that you can be, that maybe people just don't, casual fans in particular, really don't appreciate when just seeing the end result and not the process?
Yeah, it's really just like film study is just a big thing. Understanding what your opponent's gonna do, like formations, how they're lined up. Like one game, I think we were going to, I don't remember the game, but just like how the tight ends lined up, give a huge tell of what play they were gonna do, and just making sure you're keyed into that. And it could just be the slightest detail, back alignment, stuff like that, and just making sure you're getting off hard and everything. So I feel like that's something that goes unnoticed, just the amount of detail we have to have as edges, just knowing what our keys are, what our the O-lineman, tight end, or running back showing us so that we can be one step ahead and play that much faster. And I feel like that showed just from the guys like J-Rod, Braden, just in how they played. They were just playing so much faster, being one step ahead. Yeah.
You mentioned, watching film and things like that. For a typical practice week, how many hours are you guys, just the D-line together in a room looking at, film versus, out in the practice facility?
Shoot. Like a full week, probably like it's definitely 10 plus hours, probably more than that. Yeah. Just
that's more than most of your fellow students who aren't athletes are spending just studying. So you've got to find a way to offset that. So, obviously, so you spent a full year with Coach Harbaugh and others, but I'm just curious, everyone's got a story about Jim Harbaugh these days. Any stories you want to share that, fun stories of your interactions with Coach Harbaugh or maybe Coach Moore?
Shoot, I'm trying to think. It was really just the stories he would tell us before we'd be on a road game. They're just, I think it was Minnesota or Michigan State, probably Minnesota. But he told us a story about how he and his team rode out and celebrated on the street, took over their party, like took over Minnesota's party, their whole team. And that was just really funny. He's a good guy. Like his stories they always made us laugh.
That story must have motivated you, because I think you were freshman of the game at Minnesota.
Yeah, I was.
Nice.
Yeah.
Did you ever get to see Jim's chickens in his backyard?
Nah, I never got to.
Well, I wonder if they made the move to Southern California. I assume they did.
Mm-hmm.
He had a big turnaround for chicken. He famously called them a nervous bird, and then he was a chicken dad. A lot can change in 5 years. You had Coach Moore too. Obviously he stepped in for the Penn State game, for Maryland, and then Ohio State. Now he's the head coach. Obviously, I think what he exudes, his level of passion and care for the players and fellow coaches, it comes across pretty obviously. But just when you look at him as a leader, what are some of the traits that stand out about Coach Moore?
He's a great guy. He's about his business. He loves to have fun with the game of football, but he's also just detailed. Everything we do wants to make sure we uphold that standard and push it even further in everything that we do. And he's just a great guy. I'm glad he's a head coach. He's the guy that recruited me with Mike Elson from Sierra K. And so just that transition is really natural, and I'm happy for him and everything.
Do you mind sharing with us, like, how did you guys hear about, as fans, we knew Harbaugh, it's wanted more to be his thing, but it wasn't, wasn't confirmed overnight. Can can you share with us, how did they call a team meeting and you guys all file into Schembechler Hall and then they give you the news? And, I'm just curious, how did you guys find out about the transition?
I mean, at first we were kind of just like, we kind of assumed like there wasn't like a big, okay. We kind of assumed, okay, it's probably going to be Coach Moore, he's done his time. Then as it got closer to that time, I think we had a meeting with Warren Manuel. He alluded to it, Coach Moore being like our new coach. Pretty much told us like at that point we're like, all right, yeah, Coach Moore's going to be our head coach. But that's pretty much how we found out the information on that.
That's great.
Do you notice more similarities or differences between kind of how Coach Moore runs things versus Harbaugh? Not even better or just curious. Are there any things that strike you as really similar between the two, or maybe even very different?
Honestly, it's been about the same, just like very similar to see. Just wanted us to practice safe, practice fast, physical, all of that stuff. Making sure we're detailed in everything we do. Me personally, I feel like this is like the music definitely got better during practice. The music that makes.
Okay, so now we have to follow up question. How did the music get better? Did it go from the wreck of the Edmonds Fitzgerald to something a little bit better, or like what music did it get better at?
It was just more like I guess music we play now, like rap, hip hop, less EDM, house music, stuff like that. So,
I would have never guessed that it was it was a big house EDM scene under Harbaugh. That's
a lot of just noise.
He was preparing you for all that noise.
We definitely like did that throughout the season, where he just straight played just crowd noise.
Oh.
So, yeah.
Switching gears a little bit to your kind of your professional career, different side of obviously you're in school to, study and hopefully move into the mechanical engineering program, and you've got, I'm sure, big aspirations for whatever life looks like after football, which is hopefully 20, 25 years from now. When you think about whatever that time is, are there any particular fields of profession or ventures that you are, most interested in or most excite you?
Again, just back on that engineering track, I'll probably hope to at least do something within that. If I go like full through just engineering, I want to do something within that. Just live a quiet life. Hopefully after a great tenure in the NFL, live a quiet life, doing engineering or something, or just maybe like try to coach or just get back into that, or real estate, something like that. I don't know yet.
Now, when you make the NFL, would you be the first Sierra Canyon alum to make it in the NFL?
Yeah.
You would, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll be on the lookout for that.
You definitely there's some guys before me too, but that might beat me to it. But if they don't, I'll be the first.
Okay. Yeah. Well, don't be in too much of a hurry. I think you got to do 3 years post high school. So you got at least 2 more seasons before the NFL's available. But with this, we're gonna run a 2-minute drill here. But before we do that, we're gonna take a timeout. Thank our main sponsor, Caribou Coffee.
Oh.
Caribou has provided high quality coffee and craveable food options for over 30 years in more than 800 locations worldwide. And if you're in Michigan, we have great news because they're going to continue to open new locations in Ferndale, Grand Rapids, Battle Creek, and Allen Park. And look, if you haven't tried Caribou Coffee, you're missing out. So now we're going to do a 2-minute drill.
Okay.
And it may take more than 2 minutes, depending.
Yeah, we always say you got all
three
timeouts. All three timeouts.
Yeah, we've held our timeouts, so we've done a good job of managing our clock.
Yep.
But Dan, I'll let you fire away first.
I'll kick it off. All right. If you weren't a football player, what sport would you be playing?
Shoot. Honestly, discus. I did discus in high school. I threw. I feel like I probably could have been pretty solid at that if I got more training into that and figured out the technique. My I only ever did standing though. I tried to spin. I couldn't really get the technique down, but I made it work. So yeah.
Discus.
Incredible.
Well, the Olympics are coming up.
I was just gonna say,
and it's kind of in the off season. I think you think maybe more would let you do both. I mean, I don't know what the trial situation is, but
well, that they could use you because our seats are like row 51. We never get the T-shirts up that high, so maybe they could when they do the toss of the when they toss the member, let you throw them, and then you can wing them all the way up to row 99. Problem solved. Yeah.
Because I mean, I love to see President Ono out there throwing T-shirts, but he does not have a strong enough arm to get it up to row 51.
It's row 18 max. Yeah.
So other than you, who should the fans be on the lookout for in terms of a breakout season coming up?
Breakout season, probably my guy Trey Pierce.
Oh, another defensive lineman. Okay.
Yeah, Trey Pierce, Inoletta, DJ Waller, Sugar Hill, Jair Hill. Who else? There's a lot of guys. I feel like my class is specifically Ben Hall too, Evan Link, just those guys. Like we're ready, like we're hungry. Like
well, yeah,
you can see it in the spring. Like our spring period, we've only been a couple practices, but we're hungry to make a name for ourselves and just get out there, make an impact.
Well, I mean, that's great to hear because the team went from being probably one of the oldest teams in Division One because the guys that stuck around and the guys that had a sixth year, because of COVID and had a red shirt. We were a very mature team. If for fans following along and looking at like the scholarship chart and who has eligibility, we're now pretty between the incoming class and then your class and your class that redshirted. We have a ton of guys that are 1 to 2 year and brand new freshmen. So you're going to be a very young team. It's great that you mentioned a lot of young names that are poised to break out. You guys will be the leaders here.
Definitely.
All right, Dan.
Top spot to eat in town. That number one go-to place to eat in Ann Arbor.
Dang. Shit, that's hard. That's a hard one. Dang. I don't know.
Well, I'm surprised you didn't mention Schembecker Hall. I mean, I got a tour of the cafeteria and then the little like convenience store, a little setup almost there. It's like that's a pretty good place.
I'm trying to think what answers we got before. We got
Chipotle.
We got Chipotle. We got Davis said Monty, which is that's
Italian
spot. Yeah, pretty nice.
If you said Chipotle, you'd be the second person, and we'd go after them to become a sponsor. Right. But you didn't say Chipotle, so we.
Potbelly is pretty good. Good for Potbelly's. This place called Ola Seoul. It's a Korean place. That's good as well. Well, actually, I'd probably say Slurp and Turtle.
Which one, sorry?
Slurp and Turtle. It's like
is that the ramen place?
Yeah, it's like a ramen sushi place. I like that place.
Oh,
it's good.
You try?
Yeah.
All right, we got a few ideas, Dan. We can try. So.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So, if you were on America's Got Talent, and it's not football related or discus related, what talent are you demonstrating to America?
No clue. No clue.
You focused on football and academic. Okay, that's good.
I feel like I could sing. Like, I got a good voice on me.
You can sing?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
I'll probably do sing something.
Should we put him on the spot? No, I'm kidding.
Nah.
Well, you know what? That singing thing could come in handy. Did you watch what was it, HBO? You know, where they follow around the Lions and Aiden when he was a rookie had to sing.
Mhm.
Did you see that clip where he sang, you know, Billie
I
Jean?
didn't. I don't think I saw that clip.
It's,
Oh, you got
it's
to
pretty
check that
funny.
out because when you're in the NFL and they're doing the whole rookie thing, you know, you may want to
Yeah.
practice a song. His was good.
Yeah, it was
I mean,
good. He got the team going.
Yeah.
Do you have a number one like favorite movie or book, but like top movie, one that you watch all the time? If you can only watch one for the rest of your life, what are you picking?
Top movie. It's a hard one. Probably, honestly, probably Iron Man, the first Iron Man.
Iron Man.
Like, for me, it's like all the Iron Man movies always fell within just near my birthday. And I just liked Iron Man. So, probably that first Iron Man movie. And book, I'd probably just say is the Percy Jackson series, like Rick Riordan. Like, I love that series.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
You mentioned your birthday. Your birthday's in May, right?
Yeah.
So it's coming up, and I think you're like one of the youngest guys on the team.
Yeah, I'm still 18.
You're still 18.
Yeah.
I mean, so you're still growing.
Mm-hmm.
What weight do they want you to play at? I'm just curious.
There's no real set weight as
Okay.
long as like I'm moving well. Right now I'm sitting at like between 258, 262.
Okay.
But it's honestly just making sure like I can still hold my own in there. I'm not too light, not too big. It's just functionality and everything. So
Now, in our conversation with Davis Warren, he mentioned, you know, the term foxhole guys that you want to be in the foxhole with when,
Mhm.
you know, and just curious, who on the team is your foxhole when things are going, if things are going south, who do you want in the foxhole with you from the team?
shoot. Like anyone or from my class. Like,
No, anyone. Yeah, anybody on the roster. Scholarship, walk on, anybody.
probably like my guy Trey Pierce again, Nathan Afobe, you know, those are really my guys right there. Kumba, Emmett Kumba.
So these are all guys kind of playing along the D line. But, you know, if we went with Trey, other than he's a fellow D lineman, what else about him makes him the foxhole guy that, you know, you'd want to be next to if things got a little...
Got a good shoulder, good head on his shoulders. I know I can trust in myself. Sturdy. Can get dirty if he needs to get dirty.
And just to be clear, he didn't pay you to say that, right?
Nah.
No, okay. All right.
That's my guy. Yeah.
I am curious. Last 2-minute drill one. I'll ad lib on this one. The social media accounts post a lot of times in the spring. They'll post some videos of the workouts and the lifts and stuff. Now, maybe benching isn't cool anymore because it's a little old school. Maybe it's not super functional or pliable, but I'm just curious.
Mm-hmm.
Who benches the most on the team, you think?
Who benches the most? Shoot.
Because we all watched Blake Corum put up 20 something reps on, more than that, right? In the 30s maybe. So I'm just curious. Who do you think puts up the most now?
I think it's Tommy Doman.
Probably.
No?
Probably like, shoot, KG maybe? I think. Kenneth Grant or shoot, that's a hard one. We got a lot of like strong benchers on the team. So it's like a consistent battle, I feel.
Who would be up there like number 2 behind KG if you thought who would be pushing him for the top spot?
Probably Raheem Anderson, maybe Mason Graham, Aaron, Aaron Hausman, he could bench. Shoot, I don't know. It's like I can go keep
Houseman,
going. Honestly,
that's impressive because he's probably given up 50 or 60 pounds to some of those other guys you mentioned. So that's pretty impressive.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's great.
Cam, I just want to thank you again. It's been awesome having you. Just sharing your background, your path to Michigan. It's just such a great story, and we're just so excited to, one, have you on, and two, watch your future over the next, hopefully, 3 years, and wherever it takes you next. So thank you again for being on, and for everyone listening, follow us on social. Visit our website, leadersandnext.com, and thanks again for joining us, Cam.
Thank you guys for having me.
Appreciate you, bud.
Go Blue.
Go Blue.
Thank you. Go Blue.